Hi everybody, welcome to Simply Scuba. In today's video, I'm going to be taking a closer look at the Apeks ThermiQ 8.7mm semi-dry wetsuit. Now, obviously, as the name suggests, it's a 8mm thick semi-dry wetsuit. So this is really halfway between a wetsuit and a dry suit, because it's slowing the water down. You are going to get wet underneath this, but it doesn't really matter, and it's going to take quite a while for you to actually get wet inside of this because the seals are very, very effective at slowing that water down. Now, despite it being 8mm thick, it's incredibly flexible. I tried this one on myself, and full range of motion. You can do whatever you want. I was bending over and touching my toes without feeling restricted in any way. Certain panels on it are 7mm, so they're a little bit thinner, but they're not thin by any means, so you're going to stay nice and warm. Yeah, let's take a closer look, starting with the outside. Okay, so starting at the top, as you can see, this has an integrated hood. So what that means is, because you don't have a separate hood, there's no break in the neoprene anywhere to allow water to flush in around the neck. So that's a great way of staying warm. The hood itself, right up at the top, you can see we have a little vent. So this is for when you're on the dive, you put your mask on, and the hood goes over the skirt of the mask traditionally, just so that it seals properly. But then if you need to equalize your mask and you exhale through your nose, then some bubbles can transfer into the hood. As you then go to ascend and that air is inside of the hood, that starts to expand. You don't want that. You come out looking like Mickey Mouse. So what this little vent does, it allows any expanding gas to actually escape out of the top. So that's a nice little feature. But because there's 2 layers of neoprene, and it doesn't come all the way through the hood, those sort of vents will be in there. So that's actually covered up. So that means water's not flushing straight through. This is actually glide skin on the inside. So very, very effective at trapping water and stopping that flushing straight through. Further around the back of the hood, we have a raised Apeks logo detailing. Now, this isn't just branding, this is actually for your mask strap to grab hold of. This sort of material, and you'll see this throughout certain parts of the rest of the suit, this, when it's wet, it actually gives you a certain amount of grip. So that's perfect for your mask strap. So even though you're wearing a hood, your mask strap is going to be grabbing onto that and not moving, which is a lovely little feature. On the inside of the hood, all the way around your face, we have this wide section of glide skin material. So glide skin is very effective at sealing against your skin and stopping water from getting past it. So again, you jump in the water and it's going to take quite a while before that water actually starts to creep in. So it actually warms up before it gets to most of your body. On the inside, we can see this plush lining. So this lining is very effective at trapping water and slowing it down, but because it has this sort of maze-like pattern detail, it's actually very quick drying as well. So if you're diving multiple times a day, this is going to be much more comfortable to put on for that second dive, because it's going to be drier and warmer when you go to put it on for the second dive. So that's a nice feature. Moving down the suit, so this stitching here, so this is blind stitch, which means that the actual thread of the stitch doesn't go all the way through the neoprene. It kind of goes halfway through and then turns back on itself. So that's stopping water being able to go straight through that seam, another way of keeping you nice and warm. And on the other side, you might be able to see it, but there's another section of blind stitch. So this is what we call double blind stitch. It's much, much stronger because you've got both stitches on both sides, just keeping that seam together. For most of the suit though, you can see it's actually liquid glued. So this kind of rubbery sort of glue-like material, this is put over most of the seams and that actually protects them. Again, it's helping with water ingress, so it's slowing water from getting through, and it protects that threading as well. So even if it does get a cut or an abrasion, it just means that that thread isn't going to undo in the future. You're just going to have one small sort of laceration, and that's it. Moving down to the shoulders you can see more of this Apeks logo. So this is protection for your shoulders. This is where your BCD shoulder strap is gonna go. It's gonna help add a bit of extra grip for your BCD. So your BCD is not gonna be rocking and rolling around. It's gonna stay in position, but also it's protecting the suit from damage. If your BCD strap does sort of move, it's not going to wear away at your suit. Now this is a front entry suit, so you have a zipper that goes all the way across your chest, and it's not the easiest to get in all by yourself, but you can get in all by yourself, and I almost prefer this to a back entry just because with an integrated hood you kind of need this, otherwise you have to get your whole body in and then your head and then sort of do yourself up. So with a front entry I just think it's a bit more practical. The only thing I did notice is when you first put it on, it feels a little bit restrictive and you can't sort of give yourself a hug basically, but you can still sort of move around. That's the only thing that I noticed when I was first putting this on. Big zipper goes straight across your chest and across your arms. And then underneath that zipper, you have the first section of neoprene. Now this is only like 1, maybe 2 mil thick neoprene, but this is your flush guard. So this is preventing water from going straight through that zipper and getting to your bare chest. So, so that's actually slowing that water down, just like the glide skin on the hood, slowing it down, warming it up before it actually gets to your body. What also helps is on the other side of that, you have glide skin material. So glide skin is naturally sealing against the neoprene on the inside, and this is a second flush guard, except this one goes all the way over your neck and around your shoulders. So you're actually on the inside here, you've got 2 extra sections of neoprene that water has to get around, so it's really slowing it down. This again is just sort of pretty thin. I'll show you it a bit closer a little bit later on. It's just like 2 mil thick neoprene that just pops over your head before you put that hood on. As I said, I'll show you the inside in a little bit. So let me do this zipper back up again. You've got a decent sized pull tab on that, something to sort of grab hold of so you can get into the suit all by yourself. Now, if I take a look at the cuff itself, now moving down the arm, there's sort of nothing too fancy, but around the wrists you have more of this detailing, and this is for your dive computer. Again, it gives your dive computer strap something to grab hold of and stops it from kind of slipping around or moving. The bottom of the cuffs is just a pinch seal. So they pinch the neoprene and cut it off, and it's just sort of bare neoprene on the inside. Now normally on wetsuits like this or semi-dries you'll see a seal there. The seal is actually here on your on the inside of your cuff. And what you have just sort of here in front of your, just like halfway up your forearm, you have this ring of glide skin material. Again, I'll show you sort of when it's inside out, and that's working very effectively to stop water, so it will go so far and then it'll stop and slow down. Moving down the suit, you can see big open panels. There is a certain amount of stitching, but the more stitching you have, the less flexible the suit is. Big open panels means you really can stretch. And when I had this on, yeah, I was touching my toes, I was doing shutdown drills. You can really sort of bend and flex inside of this suit, despite it being 8 millimeters thick. Normally you kind of feel like big and clunky when you're more moving around inside an 8 mil, but actually this was quite comfortable to move around in. Moving down to the waist. So the waist, you have 2 pockets, 2 thigh pockets, one on each leg. They're both exactly the same. It's just the one on the right has the Apeks logo, but I'm going to focus on the left one. So on the on this sort of flap, you have a zippered section on the outside. So that's just a quick access sort of pouch pocket. So if you've got small things like a bolt snap or a Z knife or something that you want to stow away but still have like quick access, you have that zippered section on the inside. Just here, you might be able to see it's sort of made out. There's a rigid bar inside of that. It feels like plastic, and that just gives you something to grab hold of. So even if you've got clunky, thick gloves on and you're sort of feeling around, you actually have something solid to grab hold of to open the pocket. Velcro opening, you've got lots of Velcro to sort of, even if the pocket's completely full, it's still got plenty to stick to. And you do get a decent amount of storage in this. The main section on the front, this is neoprene, and then on the sides you have sort of reinforced Cordura-like material. And yeah, that's neoprene just means if you've got something a little bit oddly shaped, like a reel or a mask or something, it's not going to get kind of squidged into position, because that neoprene can stretch in one particular area, which means one, it's going to hold it quite close to your body, and two, it's not going to be sort of bending or breaking anything, because it can bend and flex. On the inside, you have two anchor points. So you have this section of webbing, and then you have a little loop of bungee cord, so you can clip bolt snaps off to that. So that way, if you have tools inside of the pocket, you open the pocket and something falls out, if you've attached it onto it, it's not going to go too far, so it's not the end of the world. A couple of little drainage holes, which you might be able to make out there, just allows any water on the inside, and when you're climbing out of the water, it just allows that to drain out. Now, there's no stitch straight down the crotch. You have this big open sort of diamond shaped panel in the crotch. Again, it's not going to be wearing anywhere, so that's nice and comfortable. Over the knees, we have this Supertrex material. So unlike the traditional lining on the outside, this is quite robust and abrasion resistant. So if you're doing a lot of training and you're kneeling down on anything, is protecting that and sort of keeping your suit newer for longer. The bottoms of the legs are a little bit grubby because of where we are, but very similar to the arm cuffs. So it's just that kind of pinch seal, and then just about there you have a ring of that glide skin material that's acting as a seal, and I'll show you that now when I turn it inside out. Okay, so here we have the inside of the suit. I basically just turned it inside out. I didn't turn the arms inside out though, so you have to forgive me for that. But here we can see that internal plush lining. Now, most of this is made out of recycled sort of plastic bottles actually, so it's quite eco-friendly. But yeah, you can see this sort of plush section. It continues, this is your back, this is going to be against your back. So this is sort of all the way up your back. It continues for the whole of the hood as well, so your head's going to stay nice and warm. And then for the rest of the suit, it's more of this sort of traditional lining. Down in the small of your back, we have an extra thick section here. So this just in the small of your back, going up your spine. This is protecting you from sort of where your BCD and your tank kind of bear down on sort of your waist. So yeah, it just makes it a bit more comfortable if you've got a weight belt as well. Even if there's a lead block sort of right there, it's going to stay sort of comfortable because you've got that added padding. Here we can see blind lock stitching, and each of the joins, these are taped as well, so that just adds an extra bit of sort of resilience and strength. If I show you the inside of the legs, so this is that internal cuff seal that I was talking about earlier. So what this does, this is basically glide skin material, so when your arm and your leg goes through the sleeve, this just sort of sits against your skin. You barely even notice when you're putting the suit on, and it kind of seals against your skin, so that when water is trying to flush up, it kind of gets stuck and takes a little while to make it past this, which is very, very effective at stopping that water just flushing straight in and cooling you down. It actually slows it right down and sort of gives your body a chance to warm it up. And on the flip side, this is the bib that goes over your head and shoulders when you're first getting in. You put this on before you put the full hood on, and yeah, this is just basic, like 2, maybe 3 mil of neoprene, and again, that just acts as a great flush guard because that covers up the zipper, which is on this side on your front, and that really slows the water down so it can't go straight through the zipper and actually get to your skin. It's got to really slow down, work its way around this neoprene all the time. Your body's naturally warming it up, so yeah, it's just another way of keeping you nice and warm. Okay guys, and that's the Apeks ThermiQ 8.7mm semi-dry wetsuit, or semi-dry wetsuit I should really call it, because it's technically a semi-dry. One thing I do have to sort of say as well, it comes with a changing mat bag as well, so after or before the dive, you throw that down and then you can sort of get changed into it. It's going to keep your feet nice and clean. And then after the dive, what you can do is put the changing mat down and then get out of your wetsuit, kind of step it into the changing mat, pull on a couple drawstrings, and that actually turns into a bag to keep it all contained. It actually has some mesh sections as well. And you get that for free, which is really, really nice. So all in all, yeah, for cold water diving, you don't want to go in a dry suit, you want to stay with wetsuits. Really, this is the suit to kind of look for. It's incredibly flexible, it's pretty easy to get on all by yourself, and then once it's on, it's very, very flexible to actually move around and physically do stuff. Normally I don't tend to go for these kind of thicker wetsuits, semi-dry 8mm type wetsuits, but actually putting it on and trying to do stuff was very, very easy, and I'm very impressed. Yeah, I definitely highly recommend the Apeks ThermiQ 8mm wetsuit, and it's eco-friendly as well. As I mentioned, yeah, a lot of sort of recycled post-consumer plastic bottles went into the linings. The neoprene itself is not petroleum based, it's sort of limestone based, so it's much more eco-friendly. Yeah, I really can't fault it. Check it out on the website simplyscuba.com. There's going to be a link directly to it in the description below. Thanks for watching. Safe diving.